What's up everyone? Welcome back to another DIY with Ry. Today, we're going to take some conduit and pegboard to make a tool wall to sit on top of this cabinet. So, as many of you may have seen, I recently built this set of cabinets to hold pretty much everything I use from the shop, from different power tools and consumables like screws and finishes. Pretty much everything that I use in any way, shape, and form in the shop is housed in these cabinets now. However, I still have this toolbox that I use for different hand tools like screwdrivers and pliers that I would rather have stored on a wall of some sort, like a pegboard wall, that I can quickly go and grab what I need and then use it either here in the shop or in some fashion in the rest of the house. So that's what we're going to build here today. Now, as I said at the beginning, this is pretty much what I'll be using to make the display wall. A little while ago, a couple of my roommates actually bought a desk off of, I think, Etsy, that used a lot of this 1/2-inch metal piping for most of the support and structure of the desk. And they had a lot of parts left over from that, and so that's essentially what I'm going to be using to build the frame for the wall. And then connected to that, I'll be using some of the scrap wood that I've collected from a few different projects to build a frame that will mount these plastic interlocking pegboards onto. And I'll be sure to link everything that I'm using for this wall in the description below, but this is kind of essentially the gist of how I'm going to be making this. So let's get down to it.
Now, just to clarify some of the materials that I'm using, this is black steel Schedule 40 pipe. Typically it's found being used in sprinkler systems and natural gas pipelines, but recently there's been a big fad in using this for building furniture and different things around the house. Now, this part of the frame was really easy to assemble. It helps a lot having the threaded inserts, and while you're seeing this in sped up time, it ended up taking me about an hour and a half to put the entire frame together and then get it mounted on top of the countertop. Another benefit of using these metal pipe fittings is that if I ever need to move the tool wall to a different location or decide that I perhaps want to hang it from the wall, I can easily unscrew it from the countertop and move it to a different location. Like I said before, the framework that connects the plastic pegboard pieces to the overall metal frame is completely made out of scrap wood. I've collected a lot of different scrap pieces from the different projects I've made, and so that's why I chose to go with scrap wood. But if you were to do this for yourself, I would recommend measuring out the space that you're trying to work with and purchasing your wood according to that. And of course, what building project wouldn't be complete without a set of pocket holes to hold it together? I made sure to pre-drill everything just to ease assembly down the line.
Alright, I've got all of the lumber cut down, and I've actually got some of the boards that'll be used for the outside frame pre-drilled, along with what I just set up for the inner pieces to kind of align all the pegboard pieces. Anyways, so now I'm just going to start building it up. I guess the correct way you'd want to do this is by building up the entire wooden frame and then setting it in place. However, since I do have some of these lips on the metal tees that are on the frame, I'm going to work on building it in place, so that way it's built specifically for this space instead of some dimensions that I had set up and everything. I think that's probably going to be the best way to go about this, just because it is kind of a different size space. It's not a perfect square. So I'm going to get to that, and we'll continue from there.
Now with the inner frame connected to the outer metal frame, all that's left to do is set up the grid work of essentially studs for the plastic pegboard pieces to sit on. In essence, this basically is framing a wall, as you're setting up a grid work for, in this case, the plastic pegboard pieces to sit on. Now all that's left to do is attach the pegboard. Given that these pieces interconnect, it's really simple and really fast to put everything up. They even have little screw holes with standoffs built in, so that way you can attach them into where you need to put them. Here I'm snipping off the little interconnecting standoffs that allow you to stack the pegboards vertically. This was just done so I could fit it within inside the frame that I built. Now because I'm building a custom-sized tool wall, the full pegboard on the end didn't quite fit, and so I ended up having to cut them down to size. It's pretty simple to do, just going along, scoring with my Dremel, and then snapping off the end of the plastic. And then when mounting these to the wall, I had to set the last stud forward, touching the back of the pegboard piece in order for it to sit flush with the rest of the wall.
And there you have it, a brand new tool wall. Super easy to put together, and if you have more space, you can obviously expand it. But this is totally going to work for my needs for right now. It's really awesome to be able to have all of the tools that I use on a more regular basis easily accessible, and I don't have to go digging through things to try and find what I'm looking for. So this is going to help my workflow in the shop so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to keep up to date on all the videos that I have coming out. I'm not quite done yet with building out the shop. I've still got a few more little organizational things that I'd like to put together, but for now, catch you next time.